Hello there, my name's Roger Healy-Dilks, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own recycled coaster project. So, what I have in front of me are some coasters that I've made through Collage. They fit together as a little group and then they separate, so they'll all be separate little coasters. So the idea behind the recycled coaster project is to use up all that waste stuff you have at home. We live in a world where there is just so much waste, so this is reclaiming the cardboard, the plastic bags for you to make something useful at home. It's simple, it's fun, and it's with just really low-tech materials you can use. So the idea of Collage has been with us for well over 100 odd years. Artists that you might like to look at are Robert Rauschenberg and the German artist Hannah Hock, who both pioneered the idea of collage and using mixed media in their work. I'm an artist as well, and these works are based on some of the work I do, where I use things from my recycling bin, I use building materials that I find, and my work is all about recycling and reusing and finding new things to do with the materials that you find at home. So the materials you'll need for this project. First, you're going to find yourself some of these. These are just blank coasters. They're made from MDF. You can get these at popular craft stores, or you could maybe make some yourself. You will also need stuff to collage onto. So I've just found bits of packaging. So go through your recycling bin at home, find your fish finger wrappers if you eat those, find your cereals, find those posh biscuit wrappers, find the vegetarian option if you wish, okay? So we'll need them, we're going to cut those up. You will also need some form of glue. So this glue here has got a strength to it, a high bond to it. So get some really good strong, this is PVA glue. Also you will need to varnish it as well. So this is an acrylic varnish that dries really quickly and also doesn't pong so much. You might also like to get some acrylic paint. So this is just like tester pots of household paint that you might be able to find. Have a look on the reduce shelf. You've also need some scissors. I would get yourself a marker pen. Also we'll need some masking tape, that's really important. A craft knife, a ruler, a cutting mat so you don't cut through your kitchen table, and maybe some brightly coloured tape. You can use all sorts of things. And also we'll need some brushes, so get yourself some different types of brushes. Okay, so the first thing to do is to bring together, if you've got, I'm going to use 4 tiles in this one. Match all the edges up, maybe use a ruler so it's nice and straight. And then I want you to get some masking tape and I want you to just stick them together so that they form a unit. And then we're going to flip that over and just check that they're all together. And then we're going to just put that to the side. So we're going to look at how our packaging is put together. So find where the seam is. And then we're going to pull it apart and lay it out nice and flat. Let's get a couple of things. So we've got some blues, we've got some darks. This one, we've got this really lovely orange and green. So think about how those colours are going to go together. Then we're going to start to cut them up and put together. I'm going to use the way that I work with my work, which is to make them into angles. So get yourself a cutting mat, get yourself a ruler. If you're using a knife, please keep your fingers away from the blade, and we're just going to make simple cuts through the packaging, really where there are the folds. So when you've cut out some sections of the packaging, just have a look, see how they fit for scale with your wooden board. And then I'm going to square them up a bit and cut diagonally across them. So what I'm looking to do is create a pattern across my tiles. Then I'm looking where the spaces are, what I might call the negative spaces, and I'm going to try and see if I can put something into them. So I'm going to take this other colour. If I've got that, then I can take a pen and I can just ruler some lines so I know where to cut. Now we're starting to build up this tile. I can start to look at how I want to arrange the elements, maybe flip things around. And you're just trying to fill up that surface, and hopefully we will have filled up our square. So there we go, that's just the basic starting point. So take the sections, flip them over, and then get yourself some masking tape, and I want you to go down, butt the edges up to each other so it's nice and flat, and then I want you to use the masking tape just so that they sit perfectly flush together. And just place it back on your collage so you know where it is. And just make sure they're all stuck down, marry them up again, have a look, check if you like your design. We're going to use the glue. So this is kind of like a contact glue. It dries off a bit and then you push it together. So first of all, get yourself a brush, get yourself some of the glue, and then just put it on both surfaces. And then we're going to brush it out so that it covers every bit of it. And again, I want to smooth it all over so we get the maximum amount of contact. And what we're going to do is just going to let that dry for a few minutes, maybe 10 or so minutes, and then we'll put it together. Okay, so we've applied the glue to the surfaces, we've let it dry for a little bit, just get it a little bit tacky. Then we are going to place it on this surface. What we could also do now is put some extra things onto it. So we've got some tape here, so what we could do might be fun to use. So these are going to be more other decorative elements on it. Got some yellow, that might go well with this yellow I've got here. Just use the colour, think about kind of balancing it, think about ways that it would looks interesting as a whole. Then you could add some paint to it as well if you wanted to. And what I tend to do in my practice as a painter and artist, I tend to mask off areas that I want to paint. So what I want to use, I'm going to get a paintbrush now, and then it's going to paint into this bit. This might be good also if you've got some gaps you can fill over. So let me take it off. And then you're just going to let it dry for a bit. Got our design, we've got it all still stuck together. We're just going to wait for it to dry. So this now has dried. So we can have a look at it and think about any other things we want to do with it. You could draw onto it now. So I've got a marker pen here. You might want to add some different layers of decoration onto it. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to take off these bits of tape because we want to now cut the individual tiles. Okay, so get yourself a ruler, get yourself a blade, push the blade out a little bit further than you would normally, and just gently gore down the middle of those, so that then should come apart. Now we're going to cut off the excess on each one, so let's just take the blade down the side of the tile. This one's got slightly rounded corners, so I'm just going to go across those corners as well, and there we've got one of our coasters. And there we go. So they should all now fit back together, and now they're ready to varnish. I've got some sort of acrylic craft varnish. Just check your varnish is good for heat, because you might want to put a hot drink on top of this. And then to stick a bit into a cup, get yourself a big flat brush, and then we're just going to coat them to seal the surface, protect it, make it a bit waterproof, and give it a little bit of a sheen as well. So this is quite a glossy one. I hope you've enjoyed making or learning how to make your collaged recycled coasters today. If you are going to make some and you want to share them with us, we'd love to see what you've made. So tag us on social media